Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. My respected brothers and sisters, or respected and esteemed elders, children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me begin by once again welcoming you to the Islamic Institute of Toronto, and also a special welcome. We've got a couple of individuals, more than individuals, who are joining us today. We have one brother from Trinidad who is visiting us, and also a special welcome to an entire family who have migrated to Canada from Qatar. We'd like to welcome them to the Islamic Institute of Toronto, and we hope, inshallah, that this institution can be beneficial to them and their families. Brothers and sisters, this might be a bit of old news, but many of you probably have heard that Brother Parvez Nasim, who is a well-accomplished leader within the Muslim community, an entrepreneur, a pioneer in many respects, passed away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to once again forgive him and to raise him from amongst the righteous and to grant him Jannatul Firdaus. The janaza was held last Friday, and we want to pay tribute to him and his family, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them and give them the patience to be able to deal with this situation. And we're also going to ask you to make dua for our dear brother. There are also a number of individuals within our community that is ill. And again, inshallah, we ask that you pray for them. Many of them are regulars at IIT, but because of their illness, they're not here with us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them shifa. Brothers and sisters, as you know, Hajj is coming up soon, and IIT, we've got a couple of sessions dealing with Hajj. One session occurred on May the 6th. The next session is scheduled for May the 13th with Sheikh Abdul Hamid. So those of you who are planning to go to Hajj or would like to learn more about Hajj, you're encouraged to attend these sessions. By the way, I'm going to ask the volunteers who are doing the line collection to kindly make their way through the lines as we speak. And brothers and sisters, if I can ask you once again, be generous in your contribution to IIT. This is one of the most significant day of the week where we do this collection, and we hope, inshallah, you're able to donate whatever you can. And as I always keep saying, set aside something every Friday for whichever masjid or Islamic center you attend, because these massages rely on individual support. Those of you who are watching us online, you can go on our website and make a donation as well. I want to also mention to you that registration for the Islamic Summer Camp is now open. You can register at islam.ca. We have both the regular camp, which is for ages 5 to 12, and we also have the youth leadership camp, which will run concurrently. So if you haven't registered, spaces are very limited. So please go to islam.ca and register for the camp. And I was asked to make a special announcement and to emphasize that tomorrow we are having our 3rd annual Business Expo. So the Business Expo is being held tomorrow, inshallah, and alhamdulillah, we have over 80 vendors. Food vendor, all kinds of services will be offered tomorrow, a variety of services. So I encourage you to please attend. Admission is free. The expo opens at 12 o'clock and will run until 7, inshallah. This is an expo that is organized by our young people. So please, patronage is required to demonstrate the support that we have for them. So I'm going to ask you, brothers and sisters, please make a special effort to attend the expo tomorrow, inshallah, beginning at 12 noon. And last but not least, as you know, there is a convention coming up from MAC, the Muslim Association of Canada, and that convention is scheduled for May the 16th to the 18th at the convention center, Metro Convention Center. So again, please register if you're able. Jazakumullah khair wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That's what I'm planning on.
Just give us a few minutes. We're waiting for the microphone to get set up.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليمًا كثيرًا أما بعد فأوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والسمع والطاعة ويقول الحق سبحانه أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو كذب بآياته إنه لا يفلح الظالمون. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and surely the best reward is for those who have taqwa. And surely there is no animosity except for the oppressor. And I bear witness that Allah is one and has no partners, and that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, is his servant, his last messenger. May Allah always, constantly send peace and blessings to Muhammad, to his family and his companions, and all those who call to his way and establish his sunnah to the day of judgment. As to what follows, I begin by the reminder of the importance of taqwa. And that is critical for us now, and it will continue into our lives, the consciousness of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed in his mighty book, in Surah Al-An'am, verse 21, and who is more unjust than one who invents a lie against Allah or denies his signs. Surely the wrongdoers will never be successful. And so Allah gives us a divine use of the verb dhalama, and that is to oppress, to do evil, to do wrong. And we have heard, and we repeat, la udwana illa ala dhalimin, that there is no animosity except against the dhalim, against the oppressor. But this verse takes it a step deeper, and it goes to another form of the noun, and it's waman adlam, and who is more oppressive. In other words, the worst oppressor is the one who invents a lie against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the one who denies the signs of Allah. And surely they will never be successful. And so historically, after the revelations, people have tried to change the book. They have distorted revelation. They have covered up realities, covered up what was happening right in front of people's eyes. And this emphasizes the importance of truth. Quwwat al-haq, the power of truth. Because truth is the basis of justice. Truth is the basis of peace. It is the basis of civilization. And Allah Azza wa Jal, in speaking about al-haq, told the Prophet ﷺ that he should announce to the people as he was coming with the message of Tawheed, and it is found in Surah Al-Isra, verse 81, قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. That you should say, O Muhammad, the truth has come and falsehood has vanished. Surely falsehood is ever bound to vanish. Isa alayhi salam, in what was or what is left of the Injil, Isa was reported to have said in John 8:31 to 32, and it is quoted as saying, to the Jews who had believed in him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teachings, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And so truth has been a key part of the message of all of those who have come representing Allah Azza wa Jal. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, karramallahu wajha, was quoted to have said, the world is darkness, knowledge is light. But knowledge without truth is a mere shadow. Knowledge without truth, it's only a shadow. Ali radiallahu anhu is reported to have said also, verily truth and falsehood are not known by the statures of men. Know the truth, and you will recognize its people. Know falsehood, and you will recognize the ones who bring it. And so truth is a critical aspect of justice and our existence as Muslims. And why is that so important today? Why are we seeing reactions happening around the world with the genocide going on in Palestine, wa'iyadu billah? What did the students uncover? Why is it that governments around the world are reacting against their students, their brightest intellectuals, crushing them on campuses, destroying them? What did the students uncover? They uncovered one of the most important truths to our understanding about what is happening here today. And that is that Western civilization in the current world order is based on the genocide of indigenous people and the enslavement of African people. And especially here in the Americas, it could be said that the modern Americas, the empires from Canada all the way to the south, are built upon the graves of indigenous people and the backs of enslaved African people. And so one of the greatest cover-ups, and this concept of cover-up is important because if you don't know the truth, you can't benefit from the truth. One of the greatest cover-ups is the genocide of Native people in the Americas. 55 to 65 million people were killed in these lands and died of either being murdered or by disease brought by the European settlers. So what is this word genocide? What has been uncovered by the students on campus? It was already known by historians. It was already known by people who had suffered, but the masses of the people were not aware of this. Even so-called educated people. Genocide comes from the Greek word genos, which means a race or a people, and the Latin suffix credo added to it becomes genocide. That suffix means to kill. So genocide means to kill a group, a people, a race. Usually when genocide is mentioned, they will say the Holocaust. They will say Rwanda. They will say Cambodia. And no doubts, these are genocides. But they covered something up, which is now coming to the surface, and that is colonial genocide. It is colonial genocide, which is the basis to the society that we are living in today and benefiting from. Colonial genocide can be described as any genocidal social practice related to the destruction of a human group since the late 15th century, especially those involving Europeans and European settlers. Settler colonial genocide. You don't see it mentioned. Why are they covering it up? And why is it important today? A few examples of settler colonial genocide, and there are so many, but to show you how far-reaching this is, the Taino genocide, which was done by the Spanish between 1492 and 1514 in the island of Hispaniola, which is now Dominican Republic and Haiti. This is the native population that lived there. The whole population was destroyed. Some take a little back and they say 96% of the population of Taino people who lived in the Caribbean and that region were killed, were destroyed by the Spanish. The Black War, a genocide done by the British in Tasmania, this is below Australia. In 1830, the total population of Tasmania was exterminated. Every single man, woman, and child, gone. You cannot find a Tasmanian, an original Tasmanian on the island today. The Trail of Tears in the USA from 1830 to 1850, the forced displacement of the native people, over 60,000 people were displaced, thousands were killed. This went on in America. This is called the Trail of Tears. We see these things happening, ethnic cleansing, pushing people out. Think about Palestine now. Think about it. Queensland, Australia, Aboriginal genocide, which took place in 1840. Over 50% of the population of the original people of Australia were killed. They estimate between 65 to 125,000 people were killed. California genocide in the USA during what is called the Gold Rush in 1846. The native tribes of the Yuki and others were massacred. 80% of the native indigenous people in that area of California were exterminated. Putumayo genocide in Peru, done by the Spanish, who was looking for Amazonian rubber. 80 to 86% of the population was killed. Hiraro and Nama genocide in Namibia. This is southern Africa. It was done by the Germans in 1904. 60 to 81% of the African population were exterminated. The Bosnian genocide, with the Serbians in the 90s, they killed over 3% of the Bosnian population. But some people will say, as we live in Canada, the big easy, as they used to say, what about here? It is classified as a genocide. But the Canadian genocide is a slow genocide. It's cultural, it's economic, it's legal, sometimes physical. Duncan Campbell Scott, the Deputy Superintendent of Indian Affairs here in Canada, in 1913 to 1932. But in 1920, he is quoted to have said, this is a Canadian government official, our object is to continue until there is not a single Indian in Canada that has not been absorbed into the body politic. No more Indians. It's a slow genocide. And so what we are seeing today in the occupied Palestinian territory, the ancestral home of the Palestinian people, is settler colonial genocide. It is the last experiment. But we are seeing it now in real time. You couldn't go back to Namibia to see the Hereros being killed. You couldn't go to the Taino people in the Caribbean. You couldn't see what happened in Peru. You couldn't see what happened in California or in the Trail of Tears. But now we are seeing in living color the settler colonial genocide in its brutal, savage form. But what can we do? What can we do? In the colonies, the only solution now is resistance. It's rebellion. That is the only solution. Outside the colonies, where we are living here and other parts of the world, and you see it coming, we need to stand for the truth. Stand for the truth. Speak out. Demonstrate. Boycott. Do whatever you possibly can. Each individual at least make dua. Do something to stand for the truth in this critical point in time. The resistance is happening, and the heroic stance of the Palestinian people, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the highest part of Jannah, is changing the narrative. And now the students, the last people who you expect, are now opening up the evil box of colonialism. We need to support the student encampments. And we can directly support young Muslim students, even their Jewish allies and their other allies who are in the encampments, who are taking a stand against the colonial regimes. They are asking for transparency. That's haq. They want the truth. They are asking for halt to the genocide. They're asking for divestment. Simple requests, but it is the essence of the evil that we have been living in for over 500 years. And so the truth cannot stay, or falsehood cannot stay in the presence of truth. قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلُ. When truth comes, batil will vanish. إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. Falsehood will vanish, it will perish. And we can only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring down the falsehood in this world. We can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on those who are suffering under the colonial settler regime. We can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy and protect the children of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect the dignity of the women of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah to raise up in the Muslim world those who will stand for truth. We ask Allah to take away our ignorant leaders and to replace them with true Islamic leaders to take us from darkness into light. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب استغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله الواحد الأحد الفرد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد وأصلي وأسلم على سيد الأولين والآخرين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد. فيا عباد الله اتقوا الله حيثما كنتم ويقول الحق سبحانه مخبرا وآمرا إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وارض الله عن الخلفاء الراشدين أبو بكر عمر عثمان وعلي وأنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم إنا نسألك قبل الموت توبة وعند الموت شهادة وبعد الموت جنة ونعيما وملكا كبيرا. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين وانصر عبادك يا رب العالمين. اللهم من أرادنا بسوء فاشغله في نفسه واجعل كيده في نحره واجعل تدبيره تدميره برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم عليك بالصهاينة الغاصبين فإنهم لا يعجزونك. اللهم شتت شملهم وفرق جمعهم وخالف بين قلوبهم وفرق كلمتهم واجعل بأسهم بينهم واشفي صدور قوم مؤمنين. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريدا إلا شفيته ولا ميتا إلا رحمته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وقوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله. Come forward, brothers, as much as you can. Make your lines straight. Go shoulder to shoulder.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا يرحمكم الله صلوا صلاة ودع. اعتدلوا. استووا. Fill in the gaps, brothers. Come in. Come right in. Go right to the other side and make your line straight. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات الصدع إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالهزل إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا فمهل الكافرين أمهلهم رويدا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Astaghfirullah.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Once again, if the volunteers weren't able to reach you prior to the salah,